Nigerians are with you.
Amen. Amen.
Nigerians are with you.
Everyone, and welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope, and the new Nigeria is possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. Once again, we are here to discuss the things, the pertinent things that are happening in Nigeria. As you know, His Excellency P2B went and visited Dele Farotimi while in prison. And again, Yunusa Tanko, the interim national coordinator of the Obidient movement, is there in court today, spoke with Dele Farotimi while they await for the court to actually dismiss this very particular matter in the magistrate court. So happening now as we speak is again Dele Farotimi is in court. But a lot of things is happening as we speak because the police has barricaded all Afe Babalola's firm in Lagos and elsewhere. And then the active citizens are mobilizing through different centers to organize the protest that is going to happen for today. So a whole lot of activities happening today. So we are going to be discussing on this, especially as His Excellency P2B has taken up the mantle to actually go and have a discussion with Afe Babalola and also try to get him to sit down and negotiate, because we know these are all politics playing out, and of course he is there to mediate on this very matter. I have Angel in the studio to have a discussion on this.
Welcome to the program Hope Alive. Sit tight, relax, let's discuss.
Yes, as we start the discussion, please do not hesitate to give a thumbs up, like, and of course share so that other active citizens will know that Obidient Family TV is live again to have this discussion. So Angel, this is very interesting that His Excellency P2B travel all the way to Ekiti State. But some people are not comfortable, even to the Obidient camp. So many people are reacting to the fact that why should His Excellency P2B go to Afe Babalola? But as we know, this is a civil matter on its end, not minding the criminal nature that is termed to be. And also it has political connotations, which PO could actually negotiate. I believe that there is, PO is always in the terms of peace,
Exactly.
Looking out for peace. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I support our PO for visiting him, at least to show concern, to show sympathy and empathy. You understand? Yes. Because even if he did not go now, some people will say, why didn't you visit him? Exactly. At least he was saying something about you, saying something about Nigeria is possible. You understand? But him visiting shows fatherhood.
What you just said now.
Respect and human empathy.
Yeah, what you just said now reminds me, yesterday night I was watching Arise TV and they had a lady who actually came out and was like, P2B is not acting, P2B is, just docile and all of that. And she was speaking, but I was, looking at her countenance, but bearing in mind the fact that some people don't understand that everybody has their own way.
Exactly.
P2B has his own way of managing things, which is a peaceful way.
Exactly.
Like he said, the way that brings you should be excellent. And that's why I believe that some critics who are saying, P2B should do this, should have done that, should have activated, as being an opposition, should have activated the protest across the nation and all that. But PO has shown that he is not such a person who is even in favor of protest in the first place.
Yes, some people want our PO to start acting like Shole. You understand? But PO is on a calm side. And Shore is in another rugged side.
Soft-spoken.
Exactly. Whatever that will bring peace, as far as he's from a calm place, PO is there. But if he's violent, he hardly...
Okay, let's even look at the matter of today in court. This is the magistrate court now. Obviously, Dele Farotimi's counsel, several sons has already weighed in, and there is an admittance that even the law that that mandated them to go and arrest or abduct or kidnap Dele Farotimi from Lagos State does not even exist in Ekiti State.
Yeah.
So based on that, the assumption of today is that the courts should be able to dismiss the matter in its entirety, because they can't be prosecuting two matters, one in a state court that obviously doesn't have the jurisdiction in the matter, and another one in a federal high court, which is obviously a double jeopardy on itself.
Exactly, yes. They need to dismiss it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, and then for you viewers, so many people who had in different of our Obidient platform has reached out to us to say, oh, how do we contribute money for the bell? How do we do this and how do we do that? Mr. Kanu has to arrange for all of that. That is not the question right now. The question is that we're on top of the matter. His Excellency Peter Obi is already in Ekiti. Dr. Yunusa Tanko, the interim national coordinator of our Obidient movement, is right there in court today as we speak. But so we just have to hold on while we wait for directives, because right now we have people who are in charge of this very affair. But notwithstanding, I'm going to take some of your questions. The questions that come to me last night has to deal with the issue of this matter on itself. This matter, if you read the book of Dele Farotimi, or even if you heard what, or if you listen to the online appearance or by him on this very matter, you will know what he meant by his book. His words are extreme, just as the reaction of the Afe Babalola himself. And while I was wondering if a journalist like us here should be saying anything on this matter because it is already in court, you know, said to be sub judice, if you call them, I watched Chief Babalola's lawyer waving aside that rule of sub judice and addressing a press conference in Ado Ekiti on Friday. So you should know the reason why we keep talking about this matter, even when it is in court. They took the top lawyer's case before the court of public opinion, and that is where we are. I am not blaming them. We live in a constantly changing world in which the internet is the super jury, if you must know. The landscape has changed forever. Babalola's lawyer said Farotimi was angered because he lost his client's case to the chief client before the Supreme Court in 2013. That was 11 years ago. Lawyers must have a very long memories, like elephant, for them to have sustained a war this long. Angel, you know, when I was reading across and listening to that very particular address by the lawyers of Afe Babalola, I noticed what they said, that this matter is a matter that originated in a land dispute, and it was a mistake from the Supreme Court. A mistake. The acres of land they were talking about seems to be 254, while I'll get the exact number. But the point is that Supreme Court made a mistake in 2013 when they were adjudicating this case. A whole Supreme Court, while they were delivering a judgment that about 5 justices of the Supreme Court sat in. So the rat that is actually eating up what is in the house right now, that is bringing up this very fury, the dust that is roving around, is the Supreme Court of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Do you know that?
Yes, that's why he wrote the book now, The Criminalities in the Judiciary. Because there is no other place the criminalities and corruption are, if not in the judiciary. You can see what they did in the last year election. Is it not the Supreme Court everybody hoped on to do the right thing? What did they do? They disappointed the whole Nigerians. Yeah,
well, let me give this story a little bit of a time. How the Supreme Court did this work and created this very war. Just a little bit. From what I read, it will appear that the Supreme Court was the rat that sparked the blaze, which our firefighters are dealing with right now. Everybody in the country is dealing with it. You will recall that 254 acres of land were sold to the Badamosi Eleto family. That is the origination of that case. However, instead of the 254 hectares, Honorable Justice Kamai Bayang, Supreme Court Justice, who wrote the lead judgment, recorded 10 hectares in error. 10 hectares out of 254 in error. Chief Babalola's lawyer told the media. That is what they said. It's not coming from Mr. Kanu. Now listen. Nigeria's topmost court wrote 10 acres when it should have written 254 acres and delivered it at its judgment in that contentious land case on the 13th of July 2013. I read that and got confused. You should also be confused. Figure out 10 and 254 neither sounded alike. I don't know if that makes sense to you. They don't sound even alike, nor do they compare in value. So where did the error come from? The Supreme Court is not a one-man tribunal. There were 4 other justices on that panel. Not one of them saw the mistake of their leading colleague. They all endorsed the error. Lock, stock, and the barrel. The court later corrected this very anomaly on the 18th of March 2014. That was 8 months after the judgment. It blamed the discrepancy on what our law calls clerical error. Then this Farotimi Babalola's war started as selling reputations and curtailing freedoms. We are now ruling our world in manners that are at variance with how we met it. Now, you will want to ask, the justices who professed these 10 hectares for 254 acres error at our Supreme Court in 2013, where are they today? And what were the consequences of their mistake, which now proves costlier than they could ever have imagined? The man who wrote the error retired in December 2019. How does he feel hearing all this about his work? That Dele Farotimi and Afe Babalola is still fighting after so many years. And the others who concurred with him in that judgment, what do they feel right now? That is the question. The Supreme Court itself, in the name of which those laws the law acted, is it found of what happened and what is happening now? The criminal case that breached out of their clerical error filed last week by the Afe Babalola and the Commissioner of Police. If they eventually go up to the Supreme Court, how is the court going to sit on them when we say that we are expecting justice, that justice will prevail in Nigerian court? If this same matter goes up to the Supreme Court, how are they going to treat it? That is the question. The body of benchers, if a student of the Nigerian law school, for example, wrote a 10 acres where he was supposed to write 254 acres, would they reward such a student with a call to the Nigerian bar? Angel, even if it is a student. So you can see, it's the Supreme Court that stirred up all of this very issue that is now going up and they are somewhere retired, resting, now seeing how fury is coming, how protest is going to happen everywhere in Nigeria, and how somebody may eventually prevail. But I will tell you, these two people right now, both the Afe Babalola and Dele Farotimi, they are not the people that, they are like the losers in all of this, because somebody created it in the first place. Now tell me, Angel, will we hear in the next 5 years or 10 years that the same Supreme Court of Nigeria, by not admitting Chief Bola Tinubu's evidence, erred? We might have to hear that after 10 years.
Exactly.
To hear that the same Supreme Court has clerical error, that all those evidence that P2B presented in court that should have been admitted, after 5 or 10 years, that the confusion will start all over again. The same Supreme Court that everybody is rushing to, that should know it all.
Instead of admitting corruption, they will blame it on clerical errors. So it's better they admit, oh, the system is corrupt, just like they wrote in his book. Yes, the Supreme Court judges and justices are corrupt. Yes, they are corrupt, and they know they are corrupt.
And that is what he wrote in his book. Because when you talk about the justice system, the criminal justice system,
exactly,
he's explaining how these things work.
Because that is the last
and if anybody goes to search for Dele Farotimi on X now, you will see he's a victim of Nigeria.
Exactly.
You understand? So, but anyway, you can go to the comment section. While I waste my time asking these questions that I keep asking here, is that the battle between the forces of Chief Afe Babalola and those of Dele Farotimi will keep on raging. And it is not one between David and Goliath. No, both are losing at the same time. They are both underdogs, being tried in two parallel courts. One at the law court, the other at the court of public opinion. Unfortunately, both are not doing fine at all. But they are unyielding. I pity the two sides, which we are in one of those sides, as you know. They are pitched in a non-win duel, while the rats who sparked the fight, the Supreme Court, enjoyed their suya, sipped the coke, and picked their teeth with toothpick. Well, that is as much as we can go, but just know that we keep on getting the update of what will be happening as it's happening in court right now. And of course, we are giving you the video of what has been transpiring in court. And also there are discussions on the mainstream media, which obviously the Arise crew are doing justice to it. And we want you also again to take a listen to what the Arise crew did. Credit to them because they keep bringing the perspectives out. Let's take a listen to them when we come back.
Federal High Court in Ekiti State granted the human rights advocate a 50 million naira bail with one surety. The presiding judge in the case on Monday asked the surety to provide evidence of 2 years tax clearance and a letter of consent from the bank. Farotimi, who is being accused of spreading false information against Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Afe Babalola, was seen in a video shepherded by police officers to the courtroom in handcuffs, eliciting a flurry of reactions. This was quite the story yesterday when we saw Dele Farotimi in handcuffs. Nigerians, of course, reacted. Let me take this tweet from Festus Ogun, who wrote, Dele Farotimi in handcuffs. The other picture, Yahaya Bello walking majestically. Tale of two justice systems. This was quite the tweet. Hashtag free Dele Farotimi. Aisha Yusufu wrote, putting Dele Farotimi is what something, or well, putting him in handcuffs is what something will humiliate him. Really, in a country where criminals illegitimately occupy offices, the last laugh is on them. If not for Dele's book, we would have ended up allowing zeros to go to the grave as heroes. Well, also, on Monday, the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, visited Afe Babalola, the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, at his office within the Afe Babalola University in Ado-Ekiti, in the Ekiti state capital, where they had in-depth discussions on critical issues, including the situation of the activist and lawyer Dele Farotimi. After his visit, Peter Obi proceeded to the prison facility where the activist is being held. Well, during a private meeting, Peter Obi expressed solidarity and engaged in a candid exchange aimed at addressing the prevailing challenges he's facing. I mean, this visit, a lot of people had mixed reactions with, the photo of Peter Obi seeming to go to appeal to the Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Let me take Omoyele Showore's tweet. He wrote, I condemn those who went to beg Chief Afe Babalola today over the unjust detention and persecution of Dele Farotimi. The delegation led by Peter Obi did colossal injustice to the struggle to drain the swamp of judicial criminality in our country. Obi's action is like forcing Rosa Parks to return to the back of the bus of racial injustice during the civil rights era in the United States. The struggle continues. Hashtag free Dele Farotimi now. Your thoughts on Peter Obi's visit, Rufai?
Okay. So I'm going to be using a lot of Yoruba analogies. There are some people that have talked about why did he go and beg Chief, what's it called, Chief Afe Babalola and all of that. You know, the first angle to that is, who were those that were there? Did he beg? That's the first question. Where's the empirical evidence that he went there to beg Chief Afe Babalola?
None.
You know, I keep talking about evidence, and I keep talking about facts, because facts are sacred. I've also seen a write-up by a certain Dr. Mo that was part of that delegation that responded. I didn't talk anything about begging, but they said they had critical conversations.
They had critical conversations. That's what I read on.
The Yoruba analogy I wanted to pull was, this could also be a conversation around Agbejo and Ikoda Agba-Oshikane, because he met with the two parties, the two fighting in this matter. After he met with Chief Afe Babalola, he met with Dele Farotimi. So he met with both parties. So the idea of beg, I don't know about that. Maybe if, you know, the people that claim that there was begging here and all of that can provide evidence. But as regards even the conversation about begging, and I keep asking the question that in society, how long are we going to beg our oppressors in this country? And I'm just talking in general terms as regards begging now. Yoruba, there's only Yoruba saying, oh, how long are we going to keep begging people that oppress us? Our political leaders that can't provide for us, that has cost us in this hardship. Because we live in a society where they say, oh, our political leaders are leaders in general. You have to be careful. They hold, after God is government, they hold the ace to our lives. But this ace to our life is only them and their families that it benefits. It doesn't benefit anybody. They are the ones that are getting richer. Their generation yet unborn are getting richer. So that's for me in the general terms as regards begging. But this conversation, I, in my own estimation, think to a large extent, it was right to go see both parties that were involved.
Yes.
What they had conversations, maybe if they did a transcript of what they had conversations about, we can know who begged or not.
Well, I guess we will see
That's
a tweet from Peter Obi in the course of the day.
Somebody that was there, Dr. Mo, had tweeted,
that's
and
what
he didn't talk
about.
anything
He
about
didn't
begging.
say anything about that. But I'd love your thoughts on the image of Dele Farotimi coming out in handcuffs from the courtroom.
So this is what we've consistently said. I mean, we've had an extensive conversation, different opinions, different sides to the matter. But it's the way that justice seems to be dispensed in favor of one party to the other, or how people seem to get the short end of the stick of justice when there's an ox to go on. So that's the challenge we have there. Yahaya Bello, as well as a lot of other people who they have criminal cases to answer, are alleged to have stolen tons of money, walk freely, even they get invited by the EFCC, they walk in majestically, they are not abducted, transferred to a different state. And so you wonder, how do we measure these things? What threat did Dele Farotimi pose as to have him in handcuffs? What he just demonstrated was just to humiliate him. It seems like it was a plot or ploy to humiliate him. And guess what happens, unfortunately? It was, without being prejudiced, what it makes him is a hero. When you put people like this who are meant to face the law, you make them heroes. It's heroic for them. And so you only increase their supporters base. And the injustice that it seems like makes people more sympathetic to his case and more upset with the agitators.
Right.
And there was no justification. I don't see a reason why he had to be put in handcuffs, especially when we've seen a number of times people who have more significant charges against them not in handcuffs.
Absolutely. I mean, I believe that today is International Human Rights Day, and it just comes at this time. I believe that we're hearing that Dele Farotimi has just arrived the Chief Magistrate Court for his hearing at this moment.
Mr. Peter will be intervening. I'll just make a small point that, look, in any legal proceeding, there's a room in our jurisprudence, as it is now, as it has evolved, for what is called alternative dispute resolution. There's room for mediation. There's room for intervention by third parties If third parties intervene and the parties involved say, oh, we have agreed on out-of-court settlement, or we have agreed that, look, we don't want to pursue this matter any further, they will approach the court. The court is not going to frown at either out-of-court settlement or alternative dispute resolution, particularly in cases like this, defamation, bailable offenses and all of that. So Mr. Peter Obi intervening as a third party has not done anything that is wrong. Whether you say he went there to prostrate for Chief Afefe Babalola. Chief Afefe Babalola is 95. Peter Obi must be like 61, 62. So, and he's a very respectful man, whatever the circumstances.
Absolutely.
But the thing to note is that, there's something called third-party intervention, mediation, alternative dispute resolution in our jurisprudence. It's not everything that is settled in court. Certain things can be settled out of court.
Okay.
So as it were, it is not just the Obidient Family TV that is actually saying is the right thing that His Excellency Peter Obi did by visiting both Afefe Babalola and of course Dele Farotimi. Of course, what we want is an amicable resolution yes, of the matter. But meanwhile, let's see how the bail conditions are being met. Like I said to our people, as we keep our ears open and we continue to talk to people that were on ground. Dr. Mo was there, of course, here. He tweeted, and we also have Dr. Yunusa Tanko, whom I spoke with personally as at yesterday, and today he is practically there at the court premises. So we see how the bail conditions are being spelled out, where we see whatever support that the Obidient movement and the Obidient Family Cooperative Society is going to contribute in that regard. Thank you very much. And let's take our final call from Angel.
Thank you so much, our active citizens and Obidient worldwide. Like, share, subscribe. Let other Obidient know what is going on. Believing and hopefully our Dele Farotimi will come out today or tomorrow by his grace. Yes, we can't blame our PO. He's a father figure. He will continue to do his duty as a father. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate you. We love you. But God loves you more. Bye for now.